Philip Hamilton, Kindy Manager. Thank you for tuning into this tutorial. We are going to be covering the new business continuity payment program that the government introduced on the 2nd of April. So we're hoping that this will help you with some clarity on the new features in Kindy Manager. We're going to start off by stepping you through the process of updating the Kindy Manager, and then we're going to go into the center details and have a look at an option that can be switched off. Once this process is finished, we go back to generating the fees normally. What's going to happen when we generate the fees now? What are they going to look like? And what if we have already generated the fees in advance, because the government did announce this fairly suddenly? And how do we get and display those BCP payments, and how can we get an overview? So let's go through the steps. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to update our Kindy Manager, and we're going to go directly to the Kindy Manager website, and we're going directly to the downloads page, where we're going to check for any new updates. We're going to click on to the update field. Now just a quick note, your kiosk should be on version 14. You could check that while you're there. Have a look at your kiosk. We're going to download the Kindy Manager update, and once it's downloaded, we'll run the update. So we'll open it, allow it to run. We only want to do an update, but if it's a new installation, the same update process can become a full installation, but we're just going to run the update for this one. We have an icon, we don't need to have another icon, so take it off if it's ticked. And the update is now complete. When you first start the Kindy Manager up after doing an update, you will often find it will want to update the tables. Not all the time, but in this particular case we have put new fields into some of the tables, and we are going to update the database before we get started. Next, we're going to sign in. And we're going to go through some of the differences, new features in the Kindy Manager since this update. First thing I need to point out is that we've added a new field in center details to switch this feature on. So once the government reverts back to the original system, you can take that tick off, and if you've still got the orange toolbar, take that top tick off as well. So no need to change anything there, just pointing it out that you can, when this is done, switch back to the system where it estimates fee relief. Uploading attendances will no longer function. They will not be accepting attendance uploads, and that includes previous attendances and modifications. So just some sample data that we're looking at here, and you can see that weeks 12 and 13, just as you might expect, they've got hours, they've got fees, they've got fee relief, and an amount owing by the parent. But now that we've got the option for the coronavirus option, I'll call it, we're going to generate the fees for week 14 and compare it, have a look at the difference between the previous 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks. So we're just generating some sample data here, and we're going to go back to the account screen. Okay, so on the week 14 we can see that there are no fees and no fee relief. So the hours are there, and you should run all the processes as you normally do. As we open up the week and have a look, we can see that Kindy Manager has added an additional fee, only it's been a negative amount to counter the daily fee. So you're keeping your records maintained as you always have, with the difference, of course, there is a credit additional fee there. We've created a new additional fee. Please don't delete that or modify it. Kindy Manager will be looking for that code when it generates your fees. Or let's just generate another week, and we'll have 2 weeks of the previous and 2 weeks of the current generation. We'll just be able to compare the difference, and then we'll talk about the payments. So we'll see the parents still owe you the outstanding money from previous weeks. You don't have to write the gap off, although the government have said that we can legally put in a payment as some sort of centre discount if you want to. That is not an absolute. So at no stage do centres need to write off money that parents still have outstanding. Now, I am aware that many centres do generate fees both 1, 2 and 3 weeks in advance, and for that reason you may have fees already generated. So I'll just give you some sample data of what that might look like. So because the government announced this unexpectedly, it was a very, very quick decision and a quick announcement and a quick implementation, centres have already generated fees in advance, so they've already estimated the fee relief. Okay. Now, the best and quickest way to rectify this is to go back to the generate fees, nominate the week, select all the days, and not to generate, but to remove the fees that have been generated. Once you've done that, you can generate the fees again, and they'll generate with the new option. So if I just refresh that, I'll find that that week is completely gone. Let's just repeat that process for week 15, and I'll remove those fees. Okay, and now we are, if I just refresh that again, the fees have been removed, so now we're free to go and generate the fees again. So we'll start off by changing that back to week 14, selecting them all, generating the fees. The bookings for the children should not have changed. Again, we'll find that that week has been generated without any fee relief or fees. Alright, so that's the quickest way to rectify your generating in advance, is simply to remove the fees using the generate option and generating them again. Alright, downloading payments, you will be downloading the payments for previous weeks. That will still function. You will list the payments and download. However, when you're downloading the payments from week 14 and on, you will list the payments, and they will pull down the single bulk payment that the government are going to allocate to centres, but there's no need to press the green button because the payment will not be allocated to the families. It's a bulk payment to the centres. To have a look at these bulk payments that have been coming down, we have a new option under the tools. Right, the child care subsidy, we've just added it to the tools. We had a look at week 14. We've just got sample data here again, and I've manually entered in a record. So on week 14 we have a turnover. Now that's going to be the same as looking at your end of week report. That's actually the fees that have generated. JK, the job keeper allowance, Kindy Manager does not have access to that, so we're going to get you to tell Kindy Manager if you're receiving and how much you're receiving in the way of the job keeper. So if we save that and refresh the screen by pressing display again, we're just getting it to calculate the difference or an offset. So from your bulk payment that you get and the job keeper, the government are asking that you run the centre as best you can with as many children as you can, with the preference being to the essential services and children at risk. Week 15 hasn't had the bulk payment downloaded yet, so it's just showing you the weeks generated. So just a quick overview on what we've covered. We've been looking at generating the fees and how the generation of the fees without fee relief is going, or without fees and fee relief is going to look. How to fix up weeks that have already been generated by removing the fees and generating them again. We still download any payments that are still outstanding by the government, and from now on we're only going to be downloading one payment, which will come down as a bulk payment, and it will not be allocated against the children. It will simply be deposited into the account of the childcare centre. We no longer upload attendances while this benefit is being paid as a bulk amount. They will not be receiving sessions, and they will not allow you to modify existing sessions. So I think that's about what we covered, and of course the new screen here showing us our payments in bulk, and you're able to save your JobKeeper allowance there, and the print option will work on the next release. We just didn't quite get enough time to get that functioning before making this release available on Monday morning. Well, plenty of time to spare. I think there's another couple of hours before you all start downloading, and I hope that you have watched this video first, is what I'm really hoping. So thank you for watching, and stay safe and keep an eye out for further updates. Thank you.